What's up YouTube, Blue Zerker here, and today I have an exciting new deck that I've been tinkering with. I pulled two shiny Starmies and I said, what can I play that'll be interesting and fun to play around with? And I decided on this Alolan Sandslash Mewtwo deck. The Mewtwo has innards out, which means that it will damage the opponent for 50 when it's knocked out. This is really strong. This is really similar and comparable to something like Druddigon. It doesn't have as much HP, but that's okay with us. Alolan Sandslash also has a really unique effect. For 1 energy, you are going to hit the opponent for 20, which isn't much, but if they hit you on the next turn, it is going to deal 40 damage, and that can really add up. With Rocky Helmet, we've got them dealing a bunch of damage, and the opponent is forced in these situations where they're just going to be hitting themselves. Now, I, unlike other people, don't love Misty, because who wants to win every game off of coin flips? So luckily we were able to design this deck in a way that you don't need Misty in order to go crazy. The double shiny Starmie, yes, we did pull 2 shiny Starmie instead of, cool full art EXs. We have the Starmie, but no retreat cost means that we can switch out for free. If we lead with Staryu, we can go into Starmie and switch out. We have Sandslash lead, which is what we're going for ideally. We have Mewtwo. I tried this deck with 2. It didn't work as well as I would have liked, so I ended up culling it down to the 1. We've got double Pokeball, double Research, and 1 Communicator for consistency. It's super nice to be able to bounce a Mewtwo or a Sandshrew into that Sandslash, and then Pokeball the other one out. We've got 1 Cape. This helps a lot with Starmie being 130 HP, and we have double Helmet. So good with the Alolan Sandslash and the Mewtwo. You're dealing so much unmitigatable damage. A lot of times when you're dealing small damage over time, the opponent can heal it up through various means like Pokemon Center Lady, Potion, or even the Floral Shaman, and that's where the Starmie works out pretty well. Being able to come in and hit for 90, it's a low efficiency card, and while 90 isn't a ton of damage, off the back of 70 from a Mewtwo and Rocky Helmet knockout, suddenly it's way scarier. Combine that with Red and we're going to knock Solgaleo out, who also deals 10 damage to himself. Because we are playing this kind of lower to the ground style, we are playing Mars. That's going to let the opponent, we're going to disrupt the opponent's plays and get the Starmie EX out. We have the Cyrus to pull stuff back in that's trying to hide out on the bench, and the red helps with the EXs because we don't have a ton of damage. But yeah, I'm super excited to play this deck. It's been a lot of fun in testing, and there are so many opportunities for the opponent to play better than you, and then they don't, so you get to steal the wins. So without further ado, let's go right into the games. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoy, leave a like, comment which Pokemon you're excited to see me build a deck around next, and hit subscribe. I do a lot of different types of Pokemon Pocket content, and I'm sure there's something you'll find that will jive with you. Anyway, let's get back to the video. I've been Blue, and I'll smell you later. Alright guys, and going off the bat, we are going second. This is a great spot to be in. We have the Staryu. We get to attack. Every Pokemon we have can attack going second, which is pretty funny. We see the Litten, and we know we are in for a good time. Even though we don't deal a ton of damage, that weakness damage makes it where we start to stack up. They have Research. They have Litten. We draw Rocky Helmet. We can throw this Pokeball down, and we see the Alolan Sandslash, which is exactly what we want to see. We can go ahead and throw the energy down on the Staryu. I'm debating on the Helmet, but we're just going to smack the opponent and say, hey, you better do something or you're going to be knocked out. Beautiful thing about this deck, we also have Starmie in hand. They do Iono us though, so we are going to lose it, but we do draw Starmie back, and we have Mewtwo. We can get off to the races ASAP with this Starmie. We also can get out of the races and go into that Alolan Sandslash, which sets up for really cool stuff. We are going to go ahead and evolve into Alolan Sandslash, throw the Mewtwo down, and then we can do a really fun play. We're going to Rocky Helmet our Sandslash. We're going to retreat into our Alolan Sandslash. Now, we deal less damage, obviously, but it's enough to take the Litten out, and now we have that spiky armor set up already. We have Rocky Helmet. If they hit us, they're going to take 40 damage themselves, and a little known fact, secondary effects of the moves count and apply weakness. So this Incineroar is going to be at 200 HP, which is pretty massive and would require like 3 attacks from Starmie in a different world. They're not going to attack us to avoid that damage. We are going to throw that energy on the Mewtwo. Everything's ready and up, ready to attack. We're going to hit them with that Spike Armor. They take 40 here, and if they were to attack us, instead of just taking the 40 from Spike Armor, they actually take the weakness also, which isn't something you often see. You don't see it with like abilities, and you don't see it with weird secondary effects. They're going to knock us out, but boom, they take 60. Boom, they take 20 from that Rocky Helmet. We are going to go right into Starmie and immediately win the game. They just concede. All right, we're in that next game. We're going to be going first. Now, this is the nice thing I like about constructing decks like this. We want to see Sandshrew, and we can attack on our second turn with the Sandslash because it has 1 energy. We Pokeball into a Staryu, and we see that the opponent is playing a Charmeleon deck, which is awesome for us. Once again, anytime someone is playing an all-in fire deck right now, like the Charmander, like the Litten, which is pretty popular, a deck like this, just being able to eat up that advantage comes in quite handy. We have the Alolan Sandslash in hand. They're going to throw the belt down on the Charmander, but that doesn't change a lot of our math until we get to the Charmeleon. We see the other Sandshrew here, so we're kind of set up. We've got full combo. I'm going to go ahead and Mars them to disrupt them because I know they're not knocking us out anytime soon. We're going to get rid of one of the cards in their hand. I assume one is a Charizard. They didn't play anything, so that makes me feel safer. They're probably going to research us, though. That happens every time I Mars the opponent. Sometimes it's worth waiting, but sometimes you just want to disrupt. They do have that Charmeleon. It comes down. They can attack us, but they don't want to. They would knock themselves out and cause themselves to lose the duel. So we are going to go into Starmie EX, and now we're ready to go over here. We've got Sandslash. We've got Spike Armor. What is the enemy supposed to do? They can't hit us or they'll knock themselves out, and otherwise they just have to sit there and wait impatiently and scared of what our Alolan Sandslash's spiky quills will do. We do see the big Charizard come down. They are going to heal it back to full HP, and they are coming with the Stoke, getting up to that 6 energy. Now they can really just plow through everything we have. This is a little scary, or at least it would be if we had Pokemon that were afraid of being hit. But because we have this spiky armor, we're going to hit for 40. The opponent's going to go, and if they attack us, they're going to hit themselves for 60, and we will knock them out with that Starmie. It is a very favorable matchup here. They're going to Lily back to full HP, and they are going to attack. With that Steam Artillery, they're going to knock us out. They take 60 from the spiky armor. They take 20 from the rocky helmet. We can go into Starmie here. We have a free retreat. We're just going to go into Sandslash because we know that's what we're trying to do. And now we draw Mewtwo, so we are safe from Sabrina. We have the Spike Armor. Once again, we are dealing 40. And if they hit us, they are taking 60 plus 20 and knocking themselves out. They have Charmander in the back. They are going to Sabrina us. Thank goodness we did draw that Mewtwo, or it would have been out of this game. But that's why you play the cards that are in your hand if you can. And know that now, with that Steam Artillery, they're going to hit themselves for another 50 off the innards out. See, there's a differentiation between the weakness. That being an ability does not apply the weakness bonus, but because the spiky armor is a secondary effect from the actual attack, it does apply the weakness. We are going to knock the opponents out. They are going to have, they could maybe Rare Candy and then Stoke. That's their only potential to stay in this game, but doesn't look like they have it unless they research into it. Nope, they've got a Pokeball. They're not going to have that Rare Candy combo. They do have the Charmeleon, but if they attack, they're knocking themselves out. And if they don't attack, we knock them out with the Starmie. We get through that cape and knock them out with the weakness. So we are going to allow them to realize that for themselves, and we will just go ahead and finish the game. I'm going to throw that energy on that Starmie EX. I'm going to show off my full art Mewtwo. I'm going to show off my shiny Starmie EX. It is blue, at least, as for Blue Zerker, and we are going ahead and take that win. Now, I know what you're thinking. We can only win going against fire decks, but that's not the case. Let me show you. We have the Sandslash here, and we're going against Carnivine. Now, we don't look like we're in the most favorable position. We actually prefer going first with this deck, funnily enough. Most decks get a power boost from going second. We will take it, though. We are not that far behind off of it. We have Sandslash in hand. We have double Sandslash set up, actually. We do Pokeball. Would have liked to have seen the Mewtwo so we could have it, but we have Staryu. We are brimming over here with a full house of Pokemon. We could attack for the 20. I actually just misclicked. I shouldn't have done this. I meant to attack. There was no reason not to. I just was playing a little way too fast and loose. We draw. We see the Starmie, so that's pretty decent. We can go ahead and evolve into our Sandslash here. We have the other one on the bench, and then we can get the Starmie set up. Once again, I played slightly poorly, and demonstrating that even though I'm not playing optimally, I can still have the opportunity to take some of these wins. The opponent is going to hit us for themselves for 40 if they knock us out here, and then we'll be in a good spot with the other Sandslash because they will go down to 20. we can knock them out. We will lose a point. They go to 20. We can send the other Sandslash in here, and what that's going to allow us to do is deal damage on the backside. It's kind of like the combo where you Darkrai, knock something out with its ability, and then you can still attack. You're able to spread out the damage to multiple opponents, and you're not wasting any points of damage either. Dealing 100 points to something with 10 health doesn't matter. Right, so they're going to send the Zubat out. They are trying to find their Crobat. Doesn't look like they have it though. We have the Starmie EXs in hand, and now we can start kind of messing around with having the fact that we have 2 of them. They're going to throw the Zubat out. It's chilling. We don't have a big hitter right now, and it is kind of scary to throw out our Starmie now because this Arceus EX will threaten us with the Oko. They have a rare candy. We are going to see that Crobat come down. It's got free retreat, so they're also going to be able to pivot around just like our Starmie allows us to. We are going to draw Research. Pretty good draw. Never upset to see Pot of Greed. I see Mars and I see Communicator, and this is a pretty favorable position. I can hold one of the Starmies in hand, and then I can use it to get to the Mewtwo if I need to, because we might need the Mewtwo damage to knock out the Arceus because they do have the Crobat. Now if the opponent plays slow and methodical, they should be able to win this. You can just sit on the bench. We don't hit hard enough is the biggest problem right here. But they are not going to do that. We're going to Spike Armor them. Now if they attack us, we are going to be able to deal that 40 damage back. They throw the energy on the Zubat. They're going to switch out into the Arceus EX, and unfortunately for them, they either weren't doing the math or they're playing too impatiently. But we see Sabrina. We throw out the Mewtwo. The opponent is foolishly going to attack into that Mewtwo. I guess they haven't read the ability. They're going to take 50 health here, and now we're just going to send out our Starmie EX with 90 damage to knock them out. We draw. It's Professor's Research. Doesn't matter what we draw. They concede. Read the cards on the field. It's not that hard. All right, we're going to be going second again. Now, you've seen us take down fire decks pretty consistently. You have seen us take down an Arceus deck. That's what happens when the opponent doesn't play around. But let's give you a real match, a real battle of wills, and a really powerful foe. We see the Mewtwo EX. Off the bat, they are going to Mars us, bring us down a point. Luckily for us, we get the Alolan Sandslash. Unluckily for us, we don't have the Sandshrew. Now, they're off to a phenomenal start, honestly. I don't know that I could ask for more. They got the Giratina. It's set up and ready to go. And they've got Mewtwo, and they Marsed us down a card. We're going to smack the opponent, and we see Cosmog, so they're playing that cool like Lunala EX subversion deck. So that's again a frustrating situation for us to be in. We do find the Sandslash, so that is nice. We can retreat. I don't know exactly what I want to retreat into though. We are just running and hiding. We can send the Mewtwo out, and we'll use that Sprinkle Water to deal some damage. We have already matched Ruddigon, and we do have the innards out. They're going to Leaf to get into this Giratina, which they will be able to attack with this turn. But if they do, we're in an okay-ish position. I mean, they do get a knockout point, but they're going to take an extra 50 damage. So suddenly they're down to 70 on that Giratina, but they still have a lot of power over there. We are going to research to draw 2 cards. We see Sandshrew, we see Starmie. Good. We needed to see the Starmie EX. We can throw our Alolan Sandslash down, and now we have a little bit of Sabrina proof over here with the Sandshrew. Now, we're in an okay position, surprisingly, even though it doesn't look that great, because they've dedicated all their energy over to this Giratina. As long as they don't get Lunala set up and then like get Mewtwo out, we should be pretty okay. They're going to cape the Giratina. They're going to Chaotic Impact, knock out the Sandslash, go down to 20, but all their energy is on this Giratina. We send out our Starmie EX, who is down in energy. We can't attack this turn, but our Alolan Sandslash can, so we can retreat for free, go into the Sandshrew is the idea here, and then we can attack and knock it out. The opponent is going to be able to Psychic Sphere us on the Crackback, and then we will be able to live with 10 HP. Hopefully they're not playing Giovanni. It's a lot less common now. We do scratch, knock the Giratina out, and get 2 points. And it seems like we are in a pretty rough position. They do send the Mewtwo out. They are going to be able to attack for 50. And we don't have a Starmie that can attack yet. If they do attack, though, they will be at Starmie's range, and we should be okay as long as the opponent doesn't have anything too crazy. They are going to Guzma us, though, and now suddenly we're in a little bit more of a pickle. We have 10 HP, we draw, we have Communicator. Now, what am I supposed to do? If they knock out the Sandshrew, they're going to win the game. If they attack us here, they're going to win the game. We have to last a turn, and we have to see red. That's the only way we're going to win this duel, is by seeing red, or by the opponent misplaying, because the opponent can attack, they can put an energy, and then the next turn they can win with Psychic Drive no matter what. They're going to throw a rare candy down. They're going to go into Lunala. They are going to have the power of that Psychic move ability. We see the Mewtwo come down, the other Mewtwo. I like seeing the Lunala. I like seeing the Mewtwo's, but not when they're being used against me. They're going to put the third energy on Mewtwo. They're going to attack. They're at 110, and we draw a Rocky Helmet. This is a frustrating position. We can throw the Rocky Helmet on the Starmie, and we can at least force a tie as long as they don't have anything that they draw that'll win them the game. We are going to see what they do. They are going to Psychic Sphere. They're going to Psychic Drive. You know, if they have Cape, we also lose, so that's pretty frustrating. But we have to play to the ways that we can win, even though we don't always win. They could also do something a little crazy, but which would be like, I don't know, retreat the Mewtwo for some reason. But the only reason you would want to do that is to try to force a win if you're not... Okay, so wait, we see them switch the Mewtwo out. They bring the new Mewtwo in. They Psychic Sphere us. They're down to 30. And instead of opting for a tie, they opted for a loss. Because now we are going to evolve just for fun. We have it. We Cyrus that Mewtwo right back in. You decided to play for a win, and you got an L. Next time, just take the concession. Just take the tie. Just take the tie. All right, we are going to be going second. We see the steal, and it is the Fated Solgaleo matchup. They lead with Cosmog, which doesn't hurt their feelings too much, slows them down just a little bit, but they do have that teleport. They're going to Pokeball. We lead with Staryu. We have Starmie in hand, which is nice, but just seeing Alolan Sandslash is not the best. They're going to Rocky Helmet on Skarmory. That's what they had to have gotten off Pokeball. You would never lead with Cosmog otherwise. We're going to draw and see what we get. Cyrus, not helpful yet, but we will Pokeball, and thank goodness we see the Sandshrew. We can start getting the Sandshrew set up. We can smack this Cosmog, and we can potentially pull it back in to knock it out. So that'll put us in an okay position as long as they don't get like straight to the Solgaleo. We can apply that early game pressure. So we were pretty lucky they led with the Cosmog and not the Skarmory. They're going to teleport out, switch that Skarmory in. They have the helmet on it. We've got the Mewtwo, which is a good draw. It'll help if they can get to a Solgaleo. We'll go right into that Starmie, and then we are going to place our energy. I misplay right here. I could have just Cyrused it in, but I opted for a different style of play, and it might end up costing me. I Spike Armor here, and I am going to make it where if they do hit us, they will take that bonus 40 damage. I have Rocky Helmet, so they'll knock themselves out here, but I've allowed them an opportunity. Okay, so they are going to Sabrina us out. We can bring Mewtwo in, and as long as they don't have something else, they're going to deal 50. And now our excess energy or our excess power that we would have had on Sandslash like isn't as good because we are dealing extra damage than we need to, because now, you know, we were going to knock them out with the Rocky Helmet and the spikes. So they're going to attack. We are also weak to steel. There's the research. Again, I should be playing around. I should have played around with the Cyrus and pulled the Cosmog in, but they are going to Rare Candy into Solgaleo. They are going to send in that Rising Road, and they are going to come in to knock us out. Now, had they have been playing around our weakness, they could have potentially also said, hey, maybe I should keep attacking with the Skarmory. So there's a couple misplays going all around, but we will deal a hefty chunk to the Solgaleo. We need to see red. That'd be really great. We draw Research. So we're going to Research. We can always switch out to our Mewtwo. We have Communicator. We need to see a basic Pokemon. Otherwise, we are going to be in a position where we aren't going to win if they Sabrina us. We do see Sandshrew, though, and we are going to be able to throw our energy down here. We're going to throw it on the Mewtwo. We're going to retreat into the Mewtwo. We're going to Sprinkle Water the Solgaleo. Now, if they attack us, we can knock them out with Starmie, and hopefully they don't have like Lily plus Potion or anything crazy like that. They throw the Cape down on the other Cosmog. They're going to Soul Breaker, deal 10 to themselves. We're going to Innards out, get them down to 30, and now hope that they don't have something too crazy coming our way, or we will be in a pickle. Otherwise, we might be in an okay position here. We're going to draw. We're going to throw down our Staryu, and then we are going to have Starmie EX knock out this Solgaleo right here. I am half considering something else, but again, hopefully I won't throw once again with some bad decision. But because we did retain the Cyrus, we are going to be able to use it to take out the Skarmory, so that's good too. They throw Rare Candy. They've got the other Solgaleo EX. Please don't have red also. That'd be the worst case scenario. They don't have it. They Soul Breaker us. We're going to go, and because we still have Cyrus, we are going to win off the Skarmory. So maybe I was actually being an amazing player by having the Cyrus in the first place. We're going to throw our Cape down so we don't end in a loss, and they're going to end up surrendering. All right, here we are in that last game, and we are going to be going first. We are going to be against the Fossil Box deck with the Lucario and Rampardos. We have a Alolan Sandshrew, and they lead with Riolu, which is pretty much guaranteed in this version of the deck. We see Staryu. We are going to go ahead and throw this helmet down in case they start attacking into us with Riolu, just to start getting damage going. We see the Sandslash in hand, which is really good. Red's not going to do anything in this matchup. They do Iono us, though, which doesn't hurt my feelings too much. I want to see Sandslash. I don't see it. That feels bad, but we still have the potential to draw it, and hopefully we can draw it quick. We draw, research, that's pretty good. They opt not to attack into us. We are going to Pokeball. We go into our Starmie EX. We see Staryu. Now we're going to research. Please give me Sandslash. We've got Pokeball and Red. So no Sandslash yet. That's a little annoying, but we can Pokeball. We can throw the Mewtwo out. We're going to get the other Sandslash, and we have the Staryu in hand. Really kind of a dud. We don't have a bunch of amazing things right now, but if the opponent sits on, you know, that fossil for a while and can't find what they need, we should be okay. We're going to go ahead and scratch, deal that 20 damage. If they do opt to attack us, we can knock them out the following turn. Hopefully we don't see like Lucario come down and just start beating us with vacuum punches. I don't know if it's vacuum punch, I can't remember, but 4D base damage, you know, we do see rare candy, and there's the Rampardos. That thing is scary. It's already going to be out here dealing big damage to us. They have the Dome Fossil, or the Skull Fossil. They are going to throw Marshadow down, so they pretty much have everything they could want. They will attack with Head Smash. Our Rocky Helmet plus Rampardos damage, that was going to bring him down to 80 HP. And maybe there's something we can do here. We go ahead and throw Mewtwo out. You can always go into Starmie because of that free retreat, but sometimes why waste the action economy. We're going to throw Staryu down. We are going to get the Starmie ready to go. You could throw Mewtwo's energy down, but it's not really the best. It doesn't change the math on anything, and we do intend on going into that Starmie EX after. They have Marshadow. They're going to put an energy on it, so it's going to be ready to go with that revenge damage, especially since they know that it is coming. They're going to Head Smash, knock out Mewtwo, but Innard's out, plus the recoil from Rampardos, and he knocks himself out. I don't understand why people don't read cards. There's not a lot of text. Please take time to read the cards on the field. Now we are in a winning position all of a sudden. We are going to throw our other Starmie down. We've got Sandslash. Suddenly our hand doesn't look nearly so terrible. Red is dead in our grip, but that's okay. We're going to throw the Cape down. That way we don't have to worry about another Rare Candy Rampardos combo. They don't have Riolu Lucario. They don't have a way to just instant win the game on us. So thankfully for us, they're not going to be able to read, see that they take a ton of damage, and they concede. And just like that, we win. Just like that, we win against all the meta stuff. It's just that easy. Alright, so there were the games. They were a lot of fun. Something about this deck just feels fun to play. The kind of finagling, the pivoting around, the making the opponent knock into it. I will say, however, the deck is not particularly good. The opponent can oftentimes, and will often in higher levels of play, read your cards. And that's a habit that everyone should be in the habit of doing. Read the cards on the field, especially when they have that little ability tag. Most of the time, there's just stats and numbers, and they're not that big of a deal, but you should definitely read the things like Mewtwo that says, hey, when I'm knocked out, you take 50 damage. Some people are too impatient, or they don't know that it does it, or they're just not thinking far enough ahead, but you really should take the time to read the cards. As you saw, a bunch of people just lost a bunch of points because they did not take the time to read the cards. The deck, though, however, not the best. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, being able to make all this recoil damage happen to the opponent, especially when you have like Helmet, and the fact that Alolan Sandslash's Spike Armor works on weakness is really funny, especially in decks that have no options like Incineroar. You can almost always come back with that Starmie EX and get a revenge kill. You have Red. Everything costs 1 energy in this deck except for Starmie EX. So pivoting around, you're always live. There's never a Pokemon that's going to come out that can't attack that turn, except as we saw with the Starmie. This does not keep up, though. It doesn't do enough unless the opponent is doing it for you. And that is something that, again, works at lower levels of play, but at higher levels of play where people know what cards do and actually consider it. It took quite a while to get those 5 wins. I had a lot of losses and just like little silly stuff of like Darkrai beats you. Oricorio and Magnezone have a really good damage potential against you because they can always knock you out with like Red, and they're more consistent. The Mewtwo, though, is definitely the highlight of the deck. Sandslash is the visual highlight. The card looks so sick. But overall, for having pulled my 2 shiny Starmies, I had a ton of fun playing with them in this deck. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know which Pokemon you're excited to see next. I've been Blue, and I'll smell you later.